Welcome back to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Season 3 is here and we're excited to dive into the core of communication, relationships, and leadership.
We're your hosts, Bella and Lee, a husband and wife duo with a successful business helping couples and organizations get it together to play a bigger game and elevate their relationships and performance.
We believe in keeping it real, so each week we'll bring you incredible guests, entrepreneurs sharing their authentic experiences, along with episodes featuring just the two of us tackling the tough topics.
So, if you're ready to enhance your connections and sharpen your leadership skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Today we have Tish Duffy in the house. With over 30 years in the fitness industry, Tish has dedicated her career to empowering individuals to build strength, resilience, and confidence. Her diverse experience spans marathon running, competitive bodybuilding, and obstacle racing, which enables her to coach clients across various disciplines. Tish has worked with a wide range of clients, including celebrities like Tate McRae and professional athletes, and even trained Sheldon Kennedy on the TV show Battle of the Blades. Recognized as Impact Magazine's top trainer in 2018 and top instructor in 2019, she embraces a no-nonsense coaching style. That's my style. I do know no-nonsense. Now navigating perimenopause, Tish is passionate about helping women discover that midlife can be vibrant and rewarding. She believes that with the right mindset and consistent effort, women can truly thrive during this stage of life. Welcome,
thank you.
Tish. It is so nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you. So it was the name of the podcast. I was like, I love that name. You know, don't sugarcoat things. And I think for women, it's really important that we communicate honesty and be upfront with them. And we can't sugarcoat at this stage of our life. They need to hear sometimes the truth, and it's not always what they want to hear.
Yeah. I know I've always had that problem, I would say.
Me too.
Some would say it's a problem, but, you know, for me, communication is so important. And if we're, going round and round in circles, a lot of misunderstanding can happen, and the results take a lot longer than they actually need to if we're just upfront and say, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what's happening.
Yes.
You got to go for it.
Yeah.
If you want changes.
Yes.
If you don't, you go ahead and let's make excuses. Let's do all that kind of stuff. But if you want results, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think we as women can be, I've trained men, I've trained women, and women definitely are different. They're more sensitive. They do make more excuses, unfortunately. You give instruction to the man A, B, and C, and I'm not saying the women doesn't do it, but it's always a little bit more challenging because I think we put more pressure on ourselves. We tend to compare ourselves more, and we tend to complicate things. So I think it's really important that we hit women with the truth, with honesty, and manage expectations right off the bat. It's very important.
So tell us a little bit about how did you get into this whole training and fitness and bodybuilding, right?
I mean, it feels like it was just yesterday, and it's hard to believe that I've been doing this for 32 years. I walked into the Lindsay Park. At the time it was called Lindsay Park. It's changed names about 4 times. It's the biggest facility in Calgary. I grew up and was raised in Calgary. And I walked into that facility at, I think I probably was 16, maybe 17 years old. And I was just absolutely inspired by everyone in there, of all different types of education levels, fitness levels. It was such an incredible energy the minute you walked in, and everyone I could tell felt welcome, and that's not the case in every setting, especially in gym settings. And I just thought at 16, 17 years old, I want to make sure that I can be here all day. I just love the energy. I was always a competitive dancer, so I loved fitness. I loved learning about the human body. I was always very interested in health and wellness. So that got me into the idea, well, if I can get my kinesiology degree, I can get educated, maybe I can become a personal trainer. Back then, that position wasn't really even a thing. Only the really rich people hired a trainer, and But I thought, if maybe I could get in the door and be able to spend not just a workout here, but all day here. So I kind of started in the back end with a private business at the center. And then after a few years, the Talisman Center sort of took me under their wings. And so I started there, and I got into bodybuilding just because I was someone who was very passionate about lifting and building. And back then, again, it wasn't something that was quite common. And a bodybuilder reached out and said, would you ever want to try this? And of course, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and did it, didn't love it. But I followed through because it was something that I wanted to really understand, just in case there was people that I wanted me to help them. And then I just decided that the more I experienced through doing it, the more people I could help. And when you're 22, 23 years old, you just want to do it all.
And you can.
Let's
just say.
Yes.
You go to the gym at midnight.
You can.
You get 4 hours of sleep,
you
go
can.
to work, and then go party, then go
to
you can do that. Right now, it's not the case.
It's very different. So I just did the New York Marathon and experienced that and what that would entail to accomplish and finish. I did some figure competitions, which was less intensive in terms of nutrition and more focusing on what the body can do physically, which was more appealing. And then the Tough Mudders and the Tough Mudder was a real challenge. And so I just felt like I had all this more experience under my belt, not just the education. And it's been an incredible career, very rewarding. I've gone from training people in a gym facility to training people in their homes. I went through about 5 to 10 years of my career where I trained exclusively just stay-at-home moms. I spent quite a few years training women who still wanted to maintain fitness either before or after having their babies, and that was a great experience. Learned a lot, realized that I wasn't going to have babies. That was a huge learning experience. I also trained, and this was the biggest thing for me, and the most impactful niche was training the elderly. So I went through a phase of probably about 3 years that I trained 70 to 85-year-olds. My husband would joke and say, why are you training all these old people? But I said for several reasons, they never cancel. They're wise beyond belief. You learn so much from these people, and they don't have a lot of other things going on in their life, so that they really do commit to a process. And I think that they're in the stage of their life where they understand the importance of it. And the reason why I say that few years was the most impactful is because I was still quite young. I was in my 30s, but I got to see firsthand what it was like in the future. So I would see 70-year-olds who were housebound, thank you, stuck in their homes, walking to their door with a walker. And these are people that chose or didn't know the importance of keeping strong in their 40s and 50s. And alternatively, I would train an 80 or 85-year-old that was still running upstairs. And the difference between that person and that person wasn't the age, but it was what they were doing in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it was like this moment I got in my car and I said, it is ultimately up to us. So my perception and my goal and my why, as to, especially at 30, we're still training because we want to look the best we possibly can. Bikini season's around the corner. We're going on a holiday. But for me, it was like I saw what that future was like. And I think that for me was why I really transitioned into training, even in a young age, training midlife women. And so, of course, it became a lot easier for me to become more relatable as I got older. And so now my main focus, obviously, is to really, really help midlife women understand the importance of it. This is not a non-negotiable. I feel so incredibly passionate about this, and this is why I basically begged for me to come on your podcast, because I can share my passion and how important it is, but the more I can get it out there, the more that people can understand the importance of it. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's our pleasure. I want to go back to what you said about the impact it has when we're in our 20s and 30s, we're invisible. We don't understand the impact of our choices is going to have in our later years. And life gets in the way sometimes, and you put it in the back. It's like, oh, we'll do. And then suddenly 40s hit and perimenopause, you know? And I feel men too, right? The dad bod, everybody is working out and doing their thing in their, early 20s and early 30s, and then life gets in the way. Yeah. Right? So I do love that is the end goal. Like you saw from the beginning to the end, the impact it has, whether you're walking on with a walker or whether you're running upstairs or marathons at 85, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So when we talk about, you mentioned no nonsense coaching is your approach. And I've always found that we can have our focus on a goal, on where we want to be. But one of the most important things, besides kind of the vision and the goal, is also getting real with where you're at. And because that really is the measurement of what kind of effort you need to put in it. And I think we have, like, a condition of being human is we like to kind of pretend that things are sometimes better, right, than what they are. And so that no nonsense piece, I think, is very good, because it's really about, like, this is where you're at, and this is the kind of hard you're going to have to go through to get to where you want to go. So my question is that no nonsense approach, was that always your approach, or did you have a different method and then just found that wasn't really effective? And then the second part to that question is, when you started doing that no nonsense approach, what tools, I guess, do you use, or how do you go about that approach? Because a no nonsense approach can come across as harsh, disrespectful, right? But how do you communicate that in a way where it where it maintains that relationship that you need to have with your clients?
Yeah, great question. No, the answer is I wasn't always like this. I think this takes a long time. I think it takes confidence in not only your ability to know that you actually can make a difference in someone else's life, and it also has a lot to do with the need for clients. I went through a stage in my life where I had to work a certain amount of hours, and when you're in a gym facility, they take 50% of your hourly rate. It is a very hard profession to feel comfortable financially. Like, I would work 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Maybe I would have a 10 a.m. And then you'd have your lunch person. Then you're back at 4:30 for 3 or 4 more clients. And I did that because I needed to. Yeah. And the need to be able to have to work like that and to keep your clients, you feel almost like you want to just make them happy. Yeah. Right? And so you baby them a little bit more, you nurture them a little bit more, you let them get away with more. And then you realize after doing that it doesn't really get results. Some people respond to that type of empathetic training, but very, very few. So I think I transitioned and became a little bit more upfront with age. That certainly helped me. It's extremely rewarding. Yeah. And it is only rewarding when my clients get results. Yeah. I do this because I want that person to change. I know that my priorities of why I do this have changed. And I've also realized through this is that that's what people want. I always was like this with men. Men are different, right? You can be black and white with a man, and they're just not as sensitive. They don't take things personally. And it's a very general statement, but from my experience in the wellness side of things, I'm not talking in overall life, but when it comes to fitness and wellness, you're really tapping into their vulnerable side. And women they're so hard on themselves. They are it is a different, I feel like I'm training different species between men and women. It really is incredibly different. But what I found through, I think also me becoming someone who is also going through this stage of my life where there are legit things changing and I can become more relatable. And so to answer the first question, no, I definitely have changed due to the fact that I train people differently because I want different things from them. I don't need their money. I want them to change. I need to see that. And if I don't, I have no interest in continuing with them.
That first part was almost like a shift from being maybe a little bit more concerned about you because you maybe need to be nicer to make sure that you keep them. So this way they keep paying you so you can, live your life, pay your bills, to switching to being more servant side where you're way more focused on them and their results. And that is your approach, that no nonsense approach to get the results. And you're willing to lose them as a client because you just, you wanted them to get those results.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing a nutrition challenge for a corporate company in Calgary right now. And it's the first time in 8 years that I have trained a man, and it's all online. I show up live once a week, and the men have been showing up more consistently, and the men are doing the tasks. Now, I'm not trying to sound like the women don't do it, but it's what I see is in the difference between a man and a woman is that when the woman has one bad day or one bad meal, they feel like they have taken a major step back. They're so incredibly hard on themselves. And so part of my due diligence in my new tools, which is part of the second part of your question, is I really try to educate women on the importance of balance and how it absolutely will make zero difference if you have a bad weekend or a higher calorie weekend, because it's not bad. We need to stop focusing on the negative, and I think that's what happens is we as women tend to be incredibly hard on ourselves, but also are not able to bounce back as well. And I think it's just because we put so much pressure on ourselves, whereas men, their brain just works differently. They are just able to pick themselves up from the ground and continue on. And I think that if I can start educating and making women understand that small adjustment in their mindset, it is all what's going on here. Every single decision that we make is what we keep telling ourselves. And the difference between what a man can tell, I have part of this challenge is I'd love to hear what you love about yourself. I'm surprised at how many men are actually embracing it, and the difference between what a man says about themselves and what a woman says about themselves is been quite a huge learning experience for me. So I think that the extra tools that
do you think because there's so much pressure on women, like going back to training men and they're doing that versus the women, we have so much pressure online to look a certain way, be a certain way, perfect society. Aging is not something that women are allowed, but men are totally allowed to age gracefully, right? So I think for you, impact maybe on a bigger scale would be talking about shifting that mindset to say it is okay to have those off days. It is okay to age.
Yes.
Give yourself permission to feel all the feels. I'm 45. I'm no spring chicken right now. I have hip pains. I busted my knee. So I don't recover as quickly.
No.
And we come into this perimenopause stage with all that conditioning of being perfect, looking a certain way, not being able, while men don't.
Yeah.
Right? You look at some of, the social medias, and then you'll have this beautiful, fit young woman hanging on a old fat man. I'm just going to say it, and then that's totally okay, right? Yet if, there's a famous actor and his wife aged a little bit, like so much negativity goes towards that. But women also go through a lot more during this stage of our life.
Yeah, a whole, tons.
Especially like, let's say, even in my household. I have twin girls who are going to be 13 in December.
We have twin girls.
We both, yeah. Sorry. I forgot you were there. I'm just kidding. So we have girls. So their hormones are up.
Yes.
I'm in perimenopause. My hormones are dropping.
Yes.
Then you add my mom who lives with us. She's 69 and so she's going through her own changes. Yeah. And then we have my husband.
Right.
Who's trying to, be the, I don't know, what are you, babe?
I don't know what I'm trying to be sometimes either.
I don't know. He's like managing it all, trying to.
It would be hard for him as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But for me, I feel because I have the girls and because I'm going through these changes, it is much more difficult to show up for myself.
Yes.
Because I need to also show up for everyone else.
I know.
Right?
Yeah,
so I think that shift needs to be, okay, so what can we do? Because we need to choose as individuals to change our lifestyle.
Yes.
It can't be like, oh, I'm going to beat you to death with a stick and then you will work. Because when you stop motivating them, what's motivating them? Right? Yes. So it's that mindset, like you were saying. A big impact is changing and shifting the mindset on health, how to implement a daily routine that fits certain lifestyles.
Yes.
That it is okay for you. Because there's days that I get up and then the morning just goes to shit because there's fighting in the house because hormones are raging, doors are slamming, right? And then it's just like, oh my gosh, now I have to focus my energy here. And then everything that is meant for me, you put to the side because you're tending.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yes.
Yeah, and then with partners, how important is it to communicate with each other? Because I feel like if the couple, because we've yo-yoed, like Lee and I, right?
Obviously. You probably feed off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So it was funny because for the longest time we were so off. I'd be fit, he'd put on weight, and I'd be putting on weight, he'd be fit. We could never really kind of get together and be like, look at us, fit couple. Because of the different life demands of you. The only time we really were at the same level, babe, I'm just going to put that out. Level is when I got pregnant and he got pregnant too.
That is a legit thing. It really is. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only time that we were actually in the same zone.
Yeah. With women, we do put pressure on ourselves because of all the pressures that we have on what we see. That I don't think that's going to go away, unfortunately. I think that we need to decide very carefully who we are following, who's inspiring us for the right reasons. So I don't have children. I don't have a mother who lives with me, although I do have a mother who lives here who I have to help with. But the demands are different. And I do try to be understanding and more patient with that. But I always try to remind women that they are going to be better partners, mothers, daughters, sisters, parents when they are at their optimal health. And so it is the most important thing to allow, without feeling guilt, that it doesn't even need to be an hour a day. I say if you can maintain a strength session 45 minutes 3 times a week, you will get results. And so I think the education has to be a really important thing in terms of letting women know that this is not as much of a feat as it needs to be. Yeah. And the more you put into your wellness, the better off you will be for everyone that's around you. Motivation is something that lasts about an hour. The only time that we get results and keep up with motivation is through your action. So you need to take the first step. When that motivation has disappeared, which is very quickly, you need to try your best to maintain the action, because through that action you will get results. It takes more time for women, because we as women don't have the same hormone. Even if you're supplementing your body, if you're losing hormones as women, we can do HRT and that can top us up. But even if we are doing that, we still do not have the same hormone levels, especially testosterone, for example, that men have to build their bodies. It's so much easier for them. So they get results quicker.
I know, it pisses me off.
Yeah, it pisses me off too.
We work out and then he's all getting or whatever, and I'm like, I'm still like a bird. With my wings.
And so we and that's another struggle is we see literally the differences in results in our spouse, in our husband, and it gets frustrating. And so I remind women that motivation lasts about 10 minutes. Action is what will get you the results. And once you start feeling results, not seeing results, we need to feel the results, because seeing results takes a very long time. And so managing expectations is the number one thing as a trainer that I feel is my job. We need to make sure these women understand that if you want to change the look of your body, you are going to have to adjust lifestyle. You are going to feel better. You are going to have less pain, because if you start feeling better, this will keep you motivated. And then if I can keep people, especially women at our age, moving better and doing things that they didn't think they were going to be able to do, or doing them better than they did in their 30s. All of a sudden, one day they wake up, they put on their pants, and it fits better. And then they get to that next level of motivation. And I call it the switch. So if I can try to, through my only way of communicating, which is through little nuggets that I do online and showing up as the best I can online, is to remind people that when that switch happens, because everything starts to make sense, you never will go back, and you will never not prioritize wellness. But it's that action that needs to happen. We're all in different stages of our life. You're together, you're joining forces as a business partners, but you have this going on with your daughters. He has this going on with 3 of his buddies, and so there's lots of different things pulling at each other. And so I say to women who struggle all the time with their spouses, I get this all the time. My husband has absolutely no interest in supporting me, in doing anything when it comes to being active. The woman feels quite alone. And I say this, you need to focus on yourself. Do the workouts, focus on movement throughout the day, get your sleep, do your deep breathing. You need to do what is helping you thrive in your life. And what will happen as a result of that is you are going to be a kick-ass woman. And your husband will see you thriving. And this will inspire him to step up and support you and want to be equal to you. And if they don't, you might
change husbands. No, just kidding.
That's actually what I say. You might want to find a new partner. Because your life partner is supposed to thrive with you. I can also tell instantly when women take care of themselves. You can't fake it in your 40s. And so that should be a motivating factor too. But it's just about sitting down and prioritizing what the both of you want in your future. And I saw it firsthand, women taking care of their husbands. Women live 7 years longer than their man.
That's why I married someone younger than me.
Smart, yes. Yeah, very smart. See, being proactive. And I also, losing my father a year and a half ago, see my mom struggling and being lonely. Could it have been different had he chose a healthier path? I don't know. But for me, I just want to make sure that if I'm doing what I can to thrive in my 70s and 80s, my partner also better be doing that as well. And that isn't an ultimatum. That is just you living your best life, and he should follow just naturally, organically.
I was just going to say, when we started working out after we came back from Italy, April, And I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay, the pasta has got to leave. So we started, and it was nice because he was my accountability, and then I was his accountability. And once you build those habits, even when in your mind you're making a million excuses, our bodies just naturally get out of bed. And if they don't, there's somebody that's out of bed already because that habit is there, and go, hey, are you coming to work out?
I love it.
And the sleep, we had to have chats about, I am not a night owl. By 9:30, good luck if I'm sitting on the TV.
Good.
I'm sleeping.
Good.
Like, there's just no way I'm out. But I like getting up 6 in the morning, get the workout out of, and
Perfect.
then you have the day.
Yes.
So we had to have a conversation around that lifestyle because he's a night owl, right? So it was like having those conversations as a couple.
Yeah.
Having that vision and mission. What do we want for? Because we sometimes lose, right? Like our vision, like when you get together, you're like, oh yeah, we're going to have these amazing careers, and then we're going to buy a house, and I'm going to get married, and we're going to have a baby. And then what? Right? We forget.
Maintenance mode kicks in.
Maintenance mode kicks
Yes,
in,
it
right?
does. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, once all that noise is gone and it's just the two of us, what is our vision and mission for our life together? Where do we want to be in 10 years with our bodies, and what do we want to do without that, like career-wise, without.
But you two are, I'd have to say, thriving as a couple. I walk into the studio and I see two healthy, attractive, fit, inspired, motivated, like I see a positive energy. And so you two have figured out how to communicate and work together already. So you've mastered that. That is rare.
Well,
Very rare.
Well, we had a breakdown and we had a breakthrough, and that's why we're doing the communication and relationships business, because when we don't communicate, things fall apart. It's just like when we don't fuel our bodies, things fall apart. So, yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
It's nice to hear. We're
Yes.
working on it.
Yeah, it's
But
inspiring.
the communication is definitely key.
It is key.
And that's why I say that vision and mission, we stop dreaming together.
Right.
When life takes over. We're
Yes.
just doing things.
Yeah.
But when you sit down, it's like, hey, like, what do we want to do in a year? Where do we want to be in 2 years? People stop looking into the future with their dreams.
100%.
Like you
Yes.
said, maintenance mode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and the fact that you're sitting down and saying, what do we want, is, I wish more people, I wish more people paused and stepped out of maintenance mode and evaluated where they are.
Where it wasn't even a we want, it was what do I want, right? So it was what do I want, what does she want? So it was I want conversations for us both, because then you're free from the considering the other person's considerations, right? So you could kind of dream a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more full of possibility. Then you come together and then we say, okay, this is what I want. And then your other partner says, this is what I want. And usually there's a fair amount of overlap there. But there's parts where there isn't any overlap. And the beautiful part that comes there is that's not a bad thing. Then it goes, okay, well, how do we support each other? In these areas where, you may want something that I don't want, or maybe I didn't even think of that being a possibility. But now that you say you want that, I kind of want it too. That sounds cool. And so that was a key part to then reverse engineering. Okay, well, how do we need to achieve these goals? And the beautiful thing that I love about health and wellness and working out is, I love your perspective that you're bringing in this call about, the future. It's like an investment into the future you, right? Not just tomorrow, but when you're in your 80s and 90s and beyond. But it's also really key, I think for Bella and I to have that focus and that clarity. We find that when we are exercising regularly, it just something clicks differently in the brain. Right, where that motivation actually does build, right? It kind of stacks. When we get up early, like Bella said, I don't like going to bed early. I don't like getting up early. It's not my natural kind of sleep pattern, but I do it because I feel like even on days where I don't want to go to the gym and work out, I feel like I've already like kicked ass in the day where everybody's just getting their day started. And even that in itself is motivating. And so when you mentioned about looking for the feeling instead of the like what you see as a result, there's a lot of intention there, right? So it's not just waiting around. I think motivate when we talk about motivation, we have to realize that it's a feeling, and feelings can just be really unreliable sometimes because it's connected to our meaning making, which also we need to be intentional about. Otherwise, it drives us in bad directions sometimes. And so being intentional about what we feel is, even if I don't want to go to the gym, especially at the beginning, because it's not a solid habit, and I go, even if I don't feel great, usually you do, like, collect that evidence. You just pushed through something and did something that you didn't want to do. And if you think about all the places in life that you don't have the results that you want, it's usually because you're not pushing through, right? Because you're stuck in that, well, I don't want to do this. Well, too bad, right? If you want to do it, if you want to have that result, you need to do those uncomfortable things anyway.
Yeah, in business, like you were saying, right? It's like, if you're not, like, fitness is a big driver for us right now.
Yeah, great.
Because it is mental health.
Yeah.
Like, so that feeling, it's here. You know, especially when you're going through something, when you go and you pump that iron, you release all that energy that's stalled, you know, within you.
Yes.
And then you carry that to your other tasks.
There's
tasks in the day that we just don't want to do, and we procrastinate.
Yes.
And they grow, and then they grow and grow, and then you're like overwhelmed, and it's like, holy man, and then you start beating yourself up, negative energy, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So when you have that mental clarity because you did work out, you take that habit now and create it in your business, in other aspects of your life, and you show up way better.
Yeah, it gives you the confidence, right? It's like I am showing myself that I have the discipline. It's called, delayed gratification. But the amount of pride and confidence that comes with showing up for yourself and doing it for you with your partner, it is the most rewarding thing. And it expands into everything. You two get that. We just need to keep sharing the importance of it. And I think one of the most important tools, I've been keep thinking about the tools thing, is educating and teaching people what strength training and activity. I focus on weightlifting because lean mass is going to be our longevity. It's the only thing that's going to keep us young. The only thing. So that's education, teaching all people, not just women, but men and women, what having muscle on your body actually does. When you do a workout, you're going to produce a hormone in your body that is going to make you feel happy. Just happy. If you're having a bad day, if you commit to a 35-minute lifting session, you will walk out of that room guaranteed, because we all will produce that special hormone that provides a sense of happiness. They're like,
because you're releasing the rage.
Yes.
Like when I'm mad, I up my weight and I'm like, rah.
Yes. Like I very rarely go into the gym going, I'm going to build my bicep today or build a peachier bum. No, I'm like, I am having one of the worst days of my life. I need to feel like I'm a normal human being. I walk into the gym or I go out in nature, right? But I do something good that's going to provide nourishment and well-being for myself. And it doesn't matter how hard of a day I've had. My problems are still there, but I know that I'm going to be able to respond and react differently. And how, as a human being, will that make you in the rest of the day, the rest of the week? It continually manifests. I see a difference between someone who prioritizes wellness and doesn't make excuses versus the one who has all of the excuses.
I do agree with some of the excuses women specifically make during perimenopause. They have symptoms and this and that.
Yes.
And that becomes the crutch.
Yes.
They're choosing to feel a certain way.
Yes.
Versus going and showing up for themselves.
Yes.
Because it's easier
to
just blame it on, oh, it's perimenopause.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there are tools and there are doctors and there is hormones and supplements that can actually help us.
Yes.
And you need to show up for yourself.
Yes.
In the gym for not just physical but also mental
yes.
health. And we need to stop using that as an excuse.
Yes.
To let ourselves just... Because I feel like there's also a culture now that, celebrates being overweight. And I believe you should celebrate and be comfortable in every stage. However, having a goal to get fit is so much more powerful instead of, oh, this is just me. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, my dad, this is like a really sensitive topic for me because my dad struggled with weight for a long time and he passed 6 months after he retired. So 3 weeks before his 66th birthday. So he was 65
so
and he didn't, because he didn't take care of his body.
No. Yeah.
Mental health also was part of that. Mm-hmm. So when I see people celebrating, oh, I'm just this. Okay, great. Love that you're confident in your... But, what are we doing because being that is not going to give you that lifespan that you're looking for. It's not a healthy way of being. But there is a culture now around, embracing, which I do agree, embracing, okay, we all struggle, we have ups and downs, hormones and stuff. Embrace where you are, but where are you going? Are you staying here and not taking care of your body, or are you happy and confident showing up for yourself and working towards... Because that I play that mental... My husband says it all the time, because I look sometimes in the mirror and, we're so judgmental.
We are.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. And I have to watch my language because my kids, they're like, Mommy, you're not fat.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because they're in that
impressionable age
right now. And then I see one of my daughters struggling. She's wearing oversized clothes because her body is changing. Mm-hmm. At 13, things are growing in places. So I have to watch because she now says, oh, I'm so fat. And I'm like, darn it, I said it. Mm-hmm. Now I'm changing my language around it. Mm-hmm. But she also sees us working out. She sees us being active. Yeah. So it's easier to motivate in that aspect by showing the lifestyle and talking more about the health. I love the confidence in loving your body at the stage you are in. But then what are you doing with that? Are you moving forward? What's your health?
What we do know is that when people are doing what they can to be healthy, but aren't necessarily seeing the changes, but they know that they're doing the X, Y, and Z, it won't bother them because they know that what they're doing is making them healthy. If you can focus on this, and this. So, you're going to wake up with a happier spirit. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to, feel less pain. Pain is a big thing for women in perimenopause because of musculoskeletal issues. I dealt with that for a year. I could barely sleep at night. Mm-hmm. And so I talk a lot about pain because it's awful. Mm-hmm. I was out of town a couple of weeks ago and I went to a gym. I was watching a 15-year-old girl pulling the bar down. Mm-hmm. And every last rep, I thought it was going to be her last one. I just could not believe the intensity. I push women, I push men to get there, and she was doing it all by herself. And I noticed that she was not going to get that last rep in. So I got out of my machine and walked over there and put my hand on the bar, and I said to her, I'm going to help you. Mm-hmm. And she pushed it down, pulled it down hardly without help, and we actually were able to pop out 2 or 3 more just by a presence of someone, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to say something to her. I had to say, you need to keep going. And you are such an inspiration. Mm-hmm. And she got emotional. She was just, oh my gosh. And I said to her, please keep going. Mm-hmm. Keep going. It takes a long time to build muscle. And through building muscle and you transitioning into a healthier life organically, drinking wine. Yeah. I love to have the odd glass of wine, but I hate feeling the way I do. Yeah. My body just doesn't like it anymore.
I water my wine down. Everybody knows that. I put water in the most expensive bottle or the
oh my gosh,
really?
Care.
I will water that sucker down. I will drink it, but then because I water it, it doesn't give me the headaches, A, because I'm hydrating. B, I don't drink as much.
Right.
So my
I'd never heard of that.
6 ounce of wine turns into 9 ounce 3 times.
Interesting.
Because and my red will turn into a rosé at some point. And while others will have 3-4 glasses, yes. I'm still on my one.
Yes, that's amazing. So, that's brilliant. You've come up with a fantastic. I'm going to share that with my clients. It's fantastic. We don't, even in our 40s sometimes, or even late 30s, we don't think about what this is going to do for our future. We really need to, as professionals, educate our clients and make them understand that this is not a physical thing. It is no longer about what we look like. You will live a more vital life. Yeah. And so that to me has to be the focus. Yeah. And through that action, because they know that their life will be more rewarding.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about, because it's like work. We talk about money being the only motivator. It's not always. No. So with fitness and nutrition, just talking about weight and looking a certain way doesn't always motivate people, right? No. It's that language. It's what motivates you. What is your why?
What is your why?
So, you probably impacted that girl at the gym for the rest of your life.
I did, right? Because that happened to me when I was her age.
Right? So then having those key people, having someone like you support your community and figuring out what that language is to motivate who, right? Getting that why is so important. For me, I don't know where I heard this, but on one reel, it's okay, so you would... people say, "Oh, I'd die for you, die for whatever."
I knew you were going to say this.
Live for them.
Yes.
So that statement was so impactful to me that it shifted everything about nutrition and weightlifting and just being the fitness. Yeah. So figuring out what will motivate you and having that on the forefront is so important.
100%. Yeah. You have to find your why.
Well, especially in perimenopause, I feel like the feeling of feeling better is at the forefront. Because
I agree.
Perimenopause, there's so many symptoms.
Tons.
But when you go to the gym, when you work out or the hike or whatever, you feel better, and that's what we're after in this stage of our life. But I think good comes with,
I think psychologically though, when to get better, if you're not there, whether it's fit, whether it's feeling good, whatever it is, you have to acknowledge that you're not there, right? And I think that's where the discomfort comes from. It's easier if you're already in decent shape and you want to get into better shape. I think that's a much easier transition than somebody who you've got aches, you've got pains, you're already feeling crappy about yourself, you've put on a bunch of weight. To make that transition's a lot harder because then you have to acknowledge where you are, which is not a great place. And it's easier to just continue with all the same habits that you have that got you there in the first place because it continues to make you feel comfortable, right? Which is why I think a lot of what we're talking about in this season is communication and relationships. And so there was a comment you made earlier about, if a partner really starts committing to their health and wellness and they really start thriving in that way and the other partner's not, right? What are some ways for that other partner to be able to encourage? Because I do agree that there's an aspect of enrollment that can happen, right? So, if the wife or the husband's working out and they're getting fitter and seeing results, that the other partner will be, touched, moved, and inspired to do the same. But that's not always the case. And if there's not a good good communication there to encourage that other person. Because you're talking about that girl, that teenager working out in the gym, and she's pushing herself, but there's something kind of powerful and magical, right? When you come over and you support her and she's able to get a couple more reps out, so how does a couple that are misaligned in their health goals and their wellness goals harness that, so that this way it doesn't become an ultimatum, right? Because ultimatums aren't a healthy way for a relationship to be like, hey, you better get your ass into the gym like I do, otherwise I'm going to find a new partner who already shares these goals, right? Because if one person's thriving in a relationship and another person isn't, then the relationship is not thriving. And so what is that communication that needs to occur there to kind of get aligned on those health goals? Like what have you seen work in the 30 plus years that you've been doing this?
I see a lack of communication. And I don't know if it's because maybe the couple has more going on than maybe they need to be aligned in other assets or parts of their life or their marriage to also align in wellness. I unfortunately haven't seen the only thing that I have seen work is the spouse sees the other spouse thriving, changing their life, making more money. I have trained so many people who are in sales, who show up for their job because of the confidence in the transformation that they have made, and make twice as much money in a matter of months. It comes from wanting to be an equal with your partner. And if I don't see a partner responding by watching, it's not just how different they look. It's every single thing in their life aligns. I know that sounds very dramatic, but I have watched it happen.
Not really.
And when that happens for a person, their partner steps up. And I think the reason why communication, you saying this is what I need in order to feel supported and going to bed early and getting up, and you being in a relationship that's really connected and healthy and there's mutual respect there and mutual admiration, you stepped up and said, yeah, okay, I want to support you in that. I don't think that's not always the case.
No, and I do agree sometimes there is underlying issues.
There are,
within the relationship.
Yes.
If you're not thriving together,
yes,
then you're moving apart. But when we aligned and said, this is what I want for my life, this is what he wants for his life, and then came together and said, wow, this is what we want together.
Yes.
We have purpose together. You have to align, and that's when you grow. Yeah. That's when communication happens.
Yeah, we change. Yes. We evolve. We are not the same people. I encourage all my clients to encourage showing up with them. When I train them the first session, I can see how nervous they are. It's very easy for me to calm them down. But I walk into your studio and I see a healthy, vibrant, happy couple. And all I hear is support and listening and communicating and showing up for each other. And look at how incredible it is. We need to, as individuals, push ourselves individually, learn to communicate, show up for ourselves. But at the end of the day, our partners also need to be inspired enough and respect our partners enough to step up as well. You can't force, there's nothing you can say or do to change, to get people to show up for themselves. Until they are ready to do it, they won't. When you are showing up for yourself, and that doesn't mean you have to be like me. Showing up for me looks different than what showing up for you is going to look like. If you can establish habits and a lifestyle that works within your little realm, when you are in the right mindset, that you are taking the right steps to make sure that your future is going to be independent, thriving, this is going to create a very high sense of pride. And when that comes, that sense of pride and happiness is something that they will never, ever compromise.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
yes,
I think our time is coming to an end. So where can people find you?
I have a website. It's trainwithtish.com. All of my services, about me, testimonials are all, I'm quite proud of that website. So that's where people should definitely find me. I have social, Train with Tish on IG. I have a newsletter as well, but if you click on my website, join the free newsletter. It is, in my opinion, my best content. I don't spam people, so they can find that on my website as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good conversation, and get your butts in gear,
yes,
everyone.
Get your butts in gear.
No bull beep, So yeah, until next time. Bye.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.